Good evening, all of you all. I'm still at work, right? And I'm happy that I'm at work, and I'm happy all of you have joined it. So, my pleasure introducing a dear colleague, right? I'm going 1 minute before class just to let you know that Abhay Srivastav sir has been associated with SP Jain for 3 years, and then subsequently now a very big consultant. Now, coming back, disclaimer clause, God bless. For pure educational understanding purposes, we start right on time now. Right, okay, today's knowledge partner is Abhay Srivastav sir, right, business postgraduate in management and business consultant. So sir had got some certification, but of course I didn't know what DII stands for, etc. So I'm sorry, sir can explain it better than me, right? So that is our knowledge partner for today, Abhay Srivastav sir. I call him a true friend. We had worked together about 10, 12 years back, but I still remember his lectures because students used to just go raving about it. We have not worked together in SP Jain. So sir has taught 3 years at SP Jain when I was not there. I had taken a sabbatical. And when I came back, sir decided that he will go on with his business consultancy. Okay, this is Hunger Collective. This keeps going, right? Every time I decide that this is too much of stress, I should stop. Keshi Shetty sir, I should submit, sir. This keeps me going. And believe me, this is too much of stress. Okay, will I make mistakes? What will people think? But then I think, this is all for a bigger purpose. And Keshi Shetty sir, I want to thank you publicly. Well, I see you keep forwarding our entire thing to the Band Samagam, and then colleagues like Anil Shetty sir and all attend. Thank you very much, sir. It is for Hunger Collective. It is a joint movement. Yes, Bete, next slide. So very quickly, that picture which haunts me and haunts all of us will come across. Yes, this is the sad state of Indian affairs today. That's okay, right? I think I can change this slide, but I don't want to change this slide. The moment I change this slide, I may lose the enthusiasm for doing these sessions. Next slide, son. Rajshri Sai is there. She's in Chennai. She's rocking. And from Chennai, she's coordinating Assam operations. Hunger Collective has reached Assam finally. We are helping people there. God bless. All right. And Assam is in really bad shape. So when all of us are talking about Sushant Singh, which is also important, please also once in a while glance at what is happening in one part of the country, that is Assam. Okay, humble request. But media is not showing what it should, according to me. But again, it's a disclaimer clause. So I continue, right? Yes, next slide, please, Bete. Our list of sponsors will come up now. Lovely, right? Hiranya, Sridevi, Gani, Speedo, Growit, Alpha, all of you all. Of course, all of you know Saurabh Agarwal. Alpha and Growit go together. Right? Hiranya is our Annie George, Pi Brothers. Gani is there, and Akshay Kalyanpur. God bless. He's picking up finance really fast now, Akshay. Okay, good. And of course, thanks to his wife, Sneha. Next slide, Bete. Yes, integrated group. Ketan sir is already there. Love him. He's already taken up some assignments on energy conservation. He has already done it on Chembur Gymkhana. Now he's doing it for corporates. The real estate Jain Yogesh Group. Requisa is for export factoring. The young lady, right? And of course, Jay Shah sir, virtual accountant. Sonia is Rikshit, right? Doing extremely well. Saris, dress material, kurtis. Meba, thank you, Hiren. Shah family, 27 years, and it should. Any business enterprise is out of a lot of personal sacrifices and family sacrifices. So 27 years, Aditya Shah and family, you rock. Suraj Lubricants, thank you. Simar, God bless. His birthday was on 7th August. Now you may wonder how I remember this date, because that happens to be the birth date of my better half also. And I better not forget these dates. At least I remember, right? So, okay, I can see that smile on sir's face. Prasad, God bless you. I've not seen you attend sessions for some time, Prasad. I'll check with you. Anjay sir, you rock. You simply rock. You are going, and Abhishek is joined. Hi, Abhishek. God bless you. We're just talking about you. Anjay sir, I love you, and I'm publicly telling you, we want to help you the way you are helping others. Please give us a list of your potential customers. I'm appealing to you personally because you are helping students left, right, and center, sir. Please do that. I'm sure we will come of some help to you also, and we will try and reach out to your potential customers. Sir, itna to humko bhi karne dijiye, sir, please. Sunanda, God bless the Manjarikas, and this is Saurav Agarwal's NGO. Yes, next slide, bete. Yes, PC Infrastructure, NCPL, George sir, what can I say? Yes, and he wants his son to become bigger. That's why possibly we have put Visway bigger than NCPL. Paul, this is out of love for you, but as of now, it's still NCPL, the bigger entity. Festivals is the e-commerce. Abhishek, please thank Anil Biyani sir for his wonderful feedback of we should have success mantras. We'll work on it. Diaram is Heli, Forest Creators is the mask. I'm still wearing that. Mahabir, we know the lovely kid, right, who motivated me, FMB 4, Manoj Bore, and Hiten Group. Love you, FMB 14, Hiten, who started the Telegram group, right? And I just watch. If there is no help, I step in now. If you watch what I do, I see if there is nobody helping, then I step in. Otherwise, you're all taking care of it. And some of you are very, very active, very, very active. Chaitanya, Anjay sir, very, very active. Thank you. Next slide, Bete. So we would like to announce today's sponsors, right? This is my kid, Sudarshan Chari, his lovely family. He wanted to celebrate his father's birthday, 70th birthday in a big way. But unfortunately, COVID is making all of us change our plans. So what does he do? He simply donates 70,000 to Hunger Collective. That's all. And he doesn't tell me. That's all he does. He doesn't tell me. Then Rajshri Sai ma'am calls up saying, sir, we received this huge donation. I said, who is this? Said, some gentleman by the name of Sudarshan Chari. And I remembered him because you can develop that values, etc. If you see these kids, you notice in class. I said, I know him. Then I went to him and got the real story out. Mr. M.R. Gopalchari is a 70-year-old first generation entrepreneur. He's a company secretary, then he's a lawyer. But after that, the entrepreneur bug came in. He became a partner in Coastal Packaging. And 1987, he started his own small indenting business of industrial chemicals. 92, he started his own corrugated packaging, and he picked the name M.R. Gopalchari sir. And in between, successful chemical distribution and setting up South India's first and only automatic plant for pulp molded plants. South India's first and only automatic plant for pulp molded products. That means they are into manufacturing also now. Sir, respects to you, Gopalchari sir. Respects to you is all I can say. Right? He is now, right, he is in the corrugated packaging manufacturers fraternity, and he is heading them at the all India level. He headed them in 2010. You can see this wonderful family. I'm sure you realize that, you know, it's values at its best. Gopalchari's better half, that is Sudarshan's mother, is Mrs. Rama Gopal, herself a graduate in English literature and certified psychological counselor, a natural manager. That is why we call them as CEOs, chief emotional officers, right? She has ensured that family comes first in family business. Super line from Sudarshan. Older son is Sudarshan Chari, our student, postgraduate from SPJ. He is also on the board of Satwa Logistics, now which that they have another firm known as Satwa Logistics, right? It is a 20-year-old firm that is spread over Chennai, Pondicherry, Visakhapatnam and Bangalore. So Bay Area of operation is South India. Anybody who wants any business to be done in logistics, South India, Sudarshan is right person to go to. I wish business happens among all of y'all. Gani is coming out with some package for all of y'all in United States. I'm requesting Gani to please let me know so that I can post in Telegram group. Sudarshan, the daughter-in-law, right? So Sudarshan's wife, right? Wife of Sudarshan is Dr. Janani Chari. My God, doctor, dental surgeon, and now pursuing her master's in public health, right? They were assigned a project of data mining the spread of COVID-19 in Telangana, okay, which contributed to understanding of spread of the epidemic in the state. In simple terms, Dr. Janani Chari, Sudarshanji's wife, is a COVID warrior, period, nothing else. Yes, Sridharan Chari is also a postgraduate in management, sitting next to Sudarshanji, and currently foraying into being a pan-India player for products related to paints and coating industry. Right? God bless you, Sridharanji. I have not met you, but right, love you also. The family is incomplete without mentioning the two little gems in the form of grandson, Moolan 9 years and Madhavan 6 years. You can see that kids, right? The mischievous look on their eyes. One is very mischievous, the other seems to be polite, at least on the photograph, but I wish he would be mischievous. The values would remain same, I think. Right? The Chari family's values would remain the same. They are in class 4 and class 1 and are the present source of energy, happiness and satisfaction, to mention in the least. So that is what Sudarshanji says. Thank you very, very much. Anybody wants to get in touch with them, this is the address. Please feel free. Right? Many a times Harvard says core competency, and what I've seen in family managed businesses is, right, they go wherever they believe, right, there is a future. And I believe it is well thought of diversification. So this wonderful family is into manufacturing of corrugated cartons. They are into pulp packs. They are into distribution of raw materials for the paint and coatings industry, and of course they are into logistics also. So it's a well diversified group. Yes, Harvard is right when they say core competency, but I've seen many family managed businesses go make a very successful exception about that. And Sudarshan ji, right, is a wonderful exception about that. Thank you very much. The next slide, Bete, please. Is my request to all of you all. I have got students also attending. So for them, it is please donate 200. For sponsors, humble request 10,000 or anything which you feel you should donate for Hunger Collective. So yes, I keep saying this, right, because I am a doctorate myself, but I personally believe, your education is seen in your behavior. I've seen some really humble and soul, and I'm not saying because I'm sitting in Platinum. This entire session of all seasons have been sponsored by Platinum. And all he says is, sir, I'm not going to use it. Other parts of the time, I will use it. When you want to use it, I will not use it. That is Krishna Rana. So each one of you all, I think you have shown your education through your behavior. And think whatever little that we are doing for Hunger Collective is thanks to you all. God bless. Next slide, Bete. I don't know how you're going to do it in COVID times, but if you can do it, I'll be happy. 20 minutes of sun exposure triggers your body to release around 200 antimicrobials that fight fungi, parasites, and viruses. I don't know how you're going to do it, but if you can do it, it is good for you all. Absolute humor on COVID. Absolute humor. And from there, Abhay sir will take on.
बताओ ना सर क्या सर मेरे को बहुत डर लग रहा है सर प्लीज बता दो सर मेरे को दग हो रहा है सर प्लीज सर क्या हुआ सर
आपको काफ़ी हौसले की ज़रूरत है अभी जैसे ही आपके रिपोर्ट्स में दिख रहा है आई एम वेरी सॉरी टू से आपको कैंसर है आपको एड्स भी है पैरालिसिस अटैक और ब्रेन ट्यूमर भी आपको
सर ये 4 ही और कुछ नहीं है ना
हाँ ओ भाई साहब क्या कुछ 4 बीमारी 7 दिन में आप टपकने वाले हो क्या इधर नाच रहे हो पागल जैसे
अरे तो कोरोना नहीं है ना मेन डर तो कोरोना का है यार बाकी सब बीमारी तो संभाल लेंगे अरे यार थैंक यू यार मजा आ गया कोरोना नहीं है कैंसर है एक नंबर सर मस्त काम करता है मनसुख भाई चलो थैंक यू
So that's media hype for you. And I remembered Paul when this video came to me. So I thought I should play it in respect of a young guy who told me, sir, you take precautions, but keep doing your work. With this, I hand over to Mr. Abhay Srivastav, my closest friend, right? And we have worked together in another institute, but not worked together in SPJN. And I thought SPJN students, all of you all should get a flavor of marketing in the real business world. I'm sure you have heard of a lot of good speakers. But here is one more to that list, August list of business consultants and a very humble person to say this. Sir, I welcome you. Please, over to you, respected sir. All of yours.
Thank you, Dr. Anil. It's been my pleasure to be present for this group. So let us start with what we understand by the word marketing. What is our feeling of marketing or what we know about marketing? Or is it something marketing is something, a function or something which is being done by some people in the company? Or how it is? What is your understanding? So anyone can start or anyone can make any comments. Creating awareness. Thank you, Ishan. Attracting people to you. Thank you, Dr. Vinod. Marketing is a system of delighting customers. Marketing is a science or product. Good. Can we think of marketing beyond the product or the system of delighting customers? Is it something doing with marketing has got, marketing is study and introducing item, building brand identity, Mr. Paul George is saying, and Anubagni is saying market study and introducing item, creating a want, knowing your customer's need. Who is your marketing guru or whom do you really respect or who is the ideal marketeer according to you? Branding and reputation in B2B, knowing your customer's need. Thank you, Shravan. Thank you, Mohit. Who is a ideal marketeer or whom do you know? Someone. Everything revolving around the customers as far as Smriti is saying. Who is a marketeer? Whom do you think? Steve Jobs. Great. Steve Jobs has made us buy something which we don't require. Oh, good. Richard Branson. Thank you, Ishan. Anyone else who has got some role model in marketing? Zara. Okay. Advait is saying to Zara. But can I say marketing has been done by you? Can you believe that? All of you in this room, Red Bull, Paul George is saying Red Bull. Dr. Vinod is saying, yes, of course. Marketing is something which has to be done by us 24/7. We all are marketers. Abhishek Bayani is accepting this fact. The reality is that we all are doing marketing. We market ourselves when we go for an interview. We market ourselves when we have to go across pitching for a client. We market ourselves to someone at home also. Dr. Anil mentioned about 7th August. And what was he doing? He was marketing himself to his better half. So he should not be left out. So marketing is something which is what we are talking about is 24/7. Marketing always made by us, is Smriti saying. Yes, it is. Who is the best marketeer? The best marketeer which you have got is your mother. Now let me explain very simply. Average family has got 4 or 5 people. She understands who requires what product at what point of time. And she makes those products available. And if there are 4 members in the family, she manufactures, I'm using the word manufacture, mind it. She manufactures those products, make it available to you at the right time, at the right place. And that is what marketing is about. Very simple. We normally tend to become marketing as a function, as someone who is an expert onto that. You require marketing gurus. There are so many marketing gurus floating around. But the real marketeer has been your mother. And in certain cases, your wife, because she has taken the role of your mother in the past. And she becomes a marketer because she understands the requirement. So what is marketing is something about is that knowing the need of the customer, knowing what the customer wants, making the products available. Ashish Mehta is saying we start marketing since we were very young. Yes, you are correct. Customer passion is the best. Customer passion is something I cannot relate to marketing exactly, what Smriti is saying. But the fact is, if we have to see who's the best marketeer, instead of going to Richard Branson or you talk about Steve Jobs, you have to look across the closest marketing person whom you can depend upon has been your mother. She does a wonderful job. She offers products. She offers the product at the right time, right place, as I mentioned earlier. So now we know for sure that marketing starts, which is closer home. Marketing is done by people whom you know. And marketing has got a lot of this confusion. Marketing has got something like there are so many people talking about marketing. There are so many words in marketing. You know, it has become a confused lot. I see these kind of words are being there. People talk about it. People want to know about it. Some people use loosely. I lately find that a lot of people talk about marketing as using it lately. Smriti is talking about being an economic accommodation. Mother knows how to manage the household. That is a definition set by economics. Very true. And that's what I say as a marketeer. She is a marketing manager also. Very correct, Smriti. Thank you for that. We see these terms which is in front of you on the screen. These are the terms which you will find very closely, very loosely being used by a lot of people around in marketing, and all marketing gurus, they tend to use these words and make it life so difficult for us. Marketing is something is very, very simple. When we talk about in marketing, it is a, first of all, it's a universal phenomena. We talk about dating, it's a marketing. We talk about at home, that's marketing. When you get ready yourself to make a presentation, you're marketing yourself first of all, and then you market your product, and then you market your brand, then you market so many things. But first and foremost thing, the marketing is a universal phenomena. It is not a domain of anyone or expert or a marketing guru. All of us are a practicing marketeer. Knowingly or unknowingly, we have been marketing ourselves for so long. That is, I think so, all of you by now must have agreed upon this. Yes, there are certain concepts in marketing. Today, we should understand the market. We should understand why, what is happening, what is there, what has been important in these factors. We must have heard this word called need. What is this word need? Can anyone tell me a very, very simplistic definition of need before we get in terms of understanding marketing from a real life examples, how marketing has, the need has been understood or not understood by the marketers and it's being failures. Essentials, someone is saying essentials, Ishan is saying, Dr. Vinod is must, requirement. Very simply, can you define that? Anubagni is talking about requirement. Is it so? Is it a requirement? Something we require to survive. Is it so? Because we need to survive food, water, shelter, that's it. But what is marketing? Perception. I don't think so. Perception is marketing. I don't think so. It's a need that I require it. Okay, you're saying from the perspective that I require it. Need is essential. Is it essential? Then only air is essential, nothing else. What is this need? Can anyone give me an example about a need being same, but the product had failed, the communication was changed? There is a brand, there is a product which all of you are using even today, but anyone can recall in the history of marketing as far as India is concerned. I'm not talking about an international experience. I'm talking about India. I do not know what Ashish is saying. Okay, Nano. Thank you, Ashish. Marketing feels something a must-have. Reliance Communication. Advait, I don't think so. Reliance is doing telecommunication, is doing marketing. They are thrusting upon you. So what is this example about something which has been a failure, which became a failure, and it was changed? The need was there, the need was same, but it was presented differently. Any example anyone can recall? Okay, now let me declare Maggi, 2 minutes noodle. Does anyone knows about it that it was a failure? Maggi was launched somewhere around in late 80s, beginning 90s. And when Maggi came into this country, Maggi came at a point of time when Indian mothers were, they believed in giving something piping hot to the children. The kind of a trend in this country was that when the child comes hungry to you, you are supposed to cater to the need of the child. You're supposed to satisfy the hunger. And when it comes to the Indian context, hunger satisfaction was when the mother gets into the kitchen and mother spends certain amount of time. I'm putting into inverted comma. And there was nothing called instant. Anything where the passion of the mother was involved, the way she is preparing for the child, and she's presenting to the child a healthy meal or healthy diet or healthy food, whether it's a breakfast or whether it's a lunch or a dinner. When Maggi came into this country, they said 2 minutes. The Indian mother never realized that fact. My Indian mother never wanted to have that 2 minutes, and she was under the impression you cannot offer something good to a child in 2 minutes. It requires a preparation. It requires it requires a preparation. It requires a serving. It requires a passion, the motherly feeling. The motherhood was being seen from that angle about, catering to that need of the child, which was a hunger, and it was a complete meal which was supposed to be given. So Maggi, when they launched, they said 2 minutes, it was a failure. But what they did when they realized, they found that this need was not only for the hunger, but the need was something else. So that then to change the communication, they didn't change the product. They didn't change further. They just changed the communication. They showed a mother where the mother is anxious, where the mother requires to satisfy the need of the child who's hungry immediately. That immediate factor which was coming in. Mind you, this was in 80s or late 80s and beginning 90s, when that instant culture was not so much prevalent. There was no instant food. There was nothing about so-called Mackie, and there was no KFCs and so on. So it was more in terms of the emotions. As Ganesh is talking about, yes, it was very correctly the emotions. So they touched upon the emotions of the mother and they relaunched the product. Now, this was one classic example which has happened as far as India is concerned. Very few people by now know about it. But there, Maggi became a failure and then it became an instant success. And today, Maggi has gone to so many forms and so many varieties and so many ways it has been prepared. And Maggi has become the typical food for most of the people in the hostels, in terms of institutions, when you are staying alone. Bachelors, they all survive on this so-called 2 minutes thing. So Maggie was one example which I can remember and which I can recall was a failure and it was a success because in spite of the company, which was such a large company, they didn't realize the fact, they didn't understand the need. So need is something which is very, very important factor when we talk about need, but we have failed and a lot of companies in this world have not been successful. If you see on an average, 5,000 ideas are there which get generated. 5 products are normally seen in the light of the day, but only 1 product is successful. If you look around, how many products have really been successful? What is the kind of a marketing which has been done? Have they all understood the need or they're hitting into the dark? There is something which is very, very important for us to understand why, what happens. I was working for a very large giant, which was one of the big MNCs in the world. And that company was for hundreds of years there. And it used to be into top 10 brands of the world for year after year. Anyone can guess which is the company I'm referring to. This was the top 10 brands of the world, and it used to be year after year. Any guesses on this? Tata? No. When we talk about world over, Tata name has not have got a brand equity the same. Procter & Gamble? No. Procter & Gamble, Gunny, is a company. It is not a brand. Coke. Coke used to be there. You're right, but Coke was not something which has failed. Coke is still there. Coke is still working. I'm talking Nokia was never existing and Nokia came much later. Top 10 brands used to be there and Coke used to be there. Marlboro cigarettes used to be once upon a time. And one of the company I was very proudly associated, Kodak. Mohit, you have guessed it very right. I do not know whether it's a telepathy. Smith Chandan is talking about Kodak. Yes, it was Kodak. What happened to Kodak? Why Kodak has failed? Kodak incidentally had one of the largest number of patents in the world. Kodak was a company which had launched the instant camera, that instant photography, which Polaroid was, it was sold to Polaroid. Digital cameras. The digital cameras was not Kodak's outcome. It was not started by Kodak. But why Kodak failed? Nisha is talking about now adapting to digital era, the new technology. No. Kodak did not adopt change. No. Kodak was one of the companies, and Kodak today has got 75 to 80% share into motion picture even today. But Kodak, as far as the retail business, has been lost. What is the philosophy of Eastman Kodak when hundreds of years he started Kodak? He started with the philosophy that the photography has to be simple. Photography has to be simple. No, it was not demise due to digital camera, but something else which led to its demise. Digital camera did play a role, but not exactly into that, because digital camera incidentally was also a discovery by Kodak. But what happened when Ashish is talking about, so this is what I am helping him understand. When Kodak was there, at that point of time, Kodak, we had a philosophy, it was to make it instant photography, instant Kodak was there. And there came across a time when we had those 2 hours lab, if you recall. Some of you must have recalled those labs. You used to give your rolls and you wanted to see that what has been there, what you have clicked. Okay. So what was the reason? What was something which was exciting about the photography at that point of time? We used to say in Kodak, for memories, we are making memories, we are building memories. Was it the fact? What was that Kodak was what you were looking for when you wanted to have a photograph clicked? Emotions? To some extent, I'm not very sure what you mean by emotions, but yes, instant gratification, physical memory. See what is happening, if you recall those days, if you have used a Kodak camera or for that matter, any camera, or where you have got your roles which you have given for DNP, which you used to call as developing and printing, when the photographs used to come, everyone was excited to look at the photographs. Okay, once that photograph was seen by you for that moment, and there was to be a grabbing affair into the families. Who wants to see the first photograph? One wanted to grab the pictures, I wanted to have it in your hand. And once that photograph has been seen, Do you recall when have you touched that this album? No. Memories was something which we thought about we were creating. But the fact was there that people wanted instant gratification. They wanted to see that pictures immediately. They wanted to see how you can be seen. And this is where your cameras have been shifted to your mobile phones. So digital camera made it simpler, but digital camera also required a certain amount of DNP. But what you wanted, which has happened and transformed this entire industry, and which is the reason where Kodak, in spite of being the top 10 brands in the world, has gone into the graves for one simple reason, because the instant gratification, something which is very, very important for people. Today, you click a picture, you post it onto something about a Facebook or a social media, and you see you get the likes. So what is something which is very, very important, what people are looking at? People are looking at Ashish Mehta saying mobile with camera and tablet. Yes, today the mobile has changed, revolutionized the photography. It is the dream of Eastman Kodak when he said it made it simple. But he didn't visualize that it will become so simple. Because what is happening today when people are clicking pictures, they're not only clicking the pictures, but they're also editing about it. Instant reactions to one's emotions, which is what I'm talking about, gratification. It is a fulfillment. It is something is I'm getting a satisfaction. Because if you see the example or the explanation of gratification, the word is, it talks about, to obtain less rewarding but immediate benefit. What is less rewarding? Because Kodak camera was giving you memories, which was a long term. Today, many of us still go back to those pictures. We still go back to those albums, and we go back into the memory lane. We go back in terms of those thought process. And we sometimes find it very funny how we used to look in the past. Today, it is becoming kind of we start sharing the pictures which was clicked in the school. That group photographs in the school was something which was very, very typically there. Let me just check. There's something on Q&A has also come in. Because of cell phones, because of Mac computers, yes, it has been there for everything which has been coming across. So what has happened, the photography was to be made simple, but it became so simple where people are looking for instant gratification, because here people are able to see that immediate benefit about how do I look like. People want to make changes into the photograph. They want to do the editing. And that editing is possible, which was not possible in terms of where the DNP was involved. It was not possible to some extent in digital photography. But it is possible into your camera phones. And mind you, what we used to think about and in Kodak, and that was that kind of a perception which was there, that people who had a certain knack for photography, certain kind of a skill in terms of photography, there's no skill required. Today, anyone and everyone is a photographer. So that change which has come across, the need has undergone change. So what they need, which was memories, the need has become gratification today. So today, if I go across in terms of the need, what I wanted to give you example with these brands, and these are the two brands, or these are the two international giants. These are the companies which were the MNCs. They are the giants as far as the marketing was concerned, but yet they were not able to see the writing on the wall. These companies, when I talk about Kodak, because that has been a first-hand experience as a brand manager in Kodak, we used to be very, very happy, and it was such a feeling we used to have it at that point of time, that we are coming into the top 10 brands, and no one can, it was like a pride at that point of time. Even Procter & Gamble, someone mentioned about, was not featuring. Today, those top 10 brands of the world are not featuring anymore. Because today, if you see, most of the IT companies are there. Microsoft is there. Intel has been there in terms of the top 10 brands, but no more those companies which used to be there in the past. So why? Because the IT companies have started understanding and knowing the customers, knowing the need of the customers, and they have been developing and designing products as per the customers. What is very important for us to understand, a very simplistic word which I'm showing to you on the screen is need. A need is something which we feel that we know, but we do not know. Need is something, the definition says for need, a state of felt deprivation. When I talk about deprivation, what does it meaning? Deprivation, something is talking about is when we feel realizing that we do not have, which we require. A very simple example, we feel thirsty. So we get deprived of something. So that is what is being satisfied is your biological need or physiological need, as we say in marketing. But what we have to understand that the needs are so many varieties, so many kind of things. I'm not getting so much in terms of a lecture, or I'm not getting across in terms of defining the Maslow's need of hierarchy. But I'm trying to give you examples that when we talk about in terms of Kodak and when I talk about in terms of Maggie, where the knowledge of the experts failed, where they didn't realize what is a need, and for that was one of the reasons the customers didn't react, and the customers and the entire marketing failed. I have shown the word here, but I'm not getting into the word want, because typically in marketing, we use the word need and want interchangeably. We talk about these words as synonymously. Although the technical definition of want is that state of felt deprivation is need, specific satisfiers is want. When it comes to specific satisfiers, where typically marketeers work towards creating a brand name, the moment a brand name is created, then it becomes a specific satisfiers. With this, it reminds me the example of Coke. Very interestingly, Coke has been again a brand which is global, which today we call across as global. Global, but a localized version. What Coke did, Coke realized in India, we always ask, "Thanda chahiye kya?" That's a term which we ask about whenever we talk about in terms of soft drink. No one uses the word soda. No one uses the word soft drink or a cold drink. To some extent, it is used. But we normally have a very colloquial way of asking someone, whether it's a friend or a guest or an invitee, "Thanda chahiye kya?" So they use this word "thanda" and they have locked onto this word. So somewhere they have established a relationship between Thanda and Coke and Thanda. So somewhere they created, if you recall those ads, what they have done, they've used Amir Khan in a campaign where Amir Khan is typically a villager, and these girls who are coming from the urban, so-called sophisticated South Bombay kind of girls, and they happen to go into a village scenario, and they're looking for something to quench their thirst. And they never expected to a villager talking about Thanda and a Coke. And when they asked this villager, asking about, "Can I get something Thanda here?" So he gets into the well and he goes across in terms of, he pulls up something, a bucket full of Coke. So somewhere they established very well, the communication was very well done, where they showed across, "Thanda matlab Coca-Cola." Ashish, you are correct. So they developed that relationship between the two. This is a confusion, because when we talk about in marketing, we do not, someone did mention earlier in the chat, I missed out the name of the person, we cannot create need. Let me tell you very, very specifically. Need is either latent or dormant. Need exists. It is always there, 24/7. What we do in marketing, we understand the need and we go across in terms of instigating that. For example, when I talked about the camera phone nowadays, what the need which you had it? The need was instant gratification, need for looking yourself immediately, need for sending out the image of yours to your friends and relatives, need about showcasing yourself, need about how good or how bad you're looking in, because everyone looks good when it comes to camera. So need was multifaceted in a way. And this was the industry which identified the need. This was the industry which realized that need. And they decided, why don't we add up a chip into a phone where people can use across as a camera? So the need was not so much about the memory, but the need was the gratification, which I mentioned across. There is another need which was there, which was wow factor. Now, whenever I see a Facebook, I've been more of a passive player onto the Facebook. What I find, the moment a photograph is posted, everyone starts putting a like there. Everyone starts admiring that photographs. And as a test case, you can also do, if you put across a photograph, even a very old photograph, after a couple of months or a couple of years, you still get as many likes as you got for the first time. In fact, it has become so much about our habit that when there is someone communicating that so-and-so has passed away and that person's picture comes across in terms of the Facebook, it is very interestingly, people just go across liking and they put a like, that emicon which has been there. So it is so interesting. So what people are looking at, people are not looking into memories. I think so it's too long away for them to look at memories. But what people are looking at, that wow, it's something which has been there. Now, when it comes to the wow factor, this is one of the need which is something very, very important. I put in my sweat and blood to purchase a house, and I've been paying my EMI, and Dr. Anil comes to my house and he says, wow, for that 3 letter of to hear from Dr. Anil, WOW, I am sweating away for the entire 25 years of my career. Is it not very interesting? We go across and we take a car on a EMI, okay? And a friend of mine, he comes across and he says, wow, the 3 letter words have become so important for us. That admiration, it is something that I will say, Gani, it is something beyond admiration. It is the kind of an appreciation. I would say it's more of an appreciation from our friends, relatives, known people, whomsoever we are able to relate to. That is the reason where we are investing so much time and money for getting that wow. It's not addiction, Dr. Vinod. It's not so much of an addiction. Addiction is going to be a habit to get that wow again and again. If you're saying from that angle, yes, you are correct. But for anything and everything which I am doing across, that the first 3 minutes, the first 2 minutes of that appreciation which I get from someone, that is the reason where the need is about. I park a Mercedes in my garage, and what happens? Wow. So everyone and anyone who is looking across, that wow factor has become the need. And incidentally, 95 to almost 98% of our need when we talk about, if you look across to any products or anything which you are looking at, yes, addiction to wow, Dr. Vinod is saying 100% you are correct. It is the wow factor which is what is determining our need. That is what has become. So it is more about that psychological need. It is something about the appreciation. It is possibly that is reinforcing ourselves. We have become so isolated, particularly we all are feeling ourselves in this pandemic that we are locked up into various houses, but the sense of belongingness we are getting through the connectivity of the Facebook, and we are getting that sense of appreciation or the wow factor on the Facebook, and we feel that we are connected. So somewhere there is a need of belongingness, somewhere is a need of being around with people, and more so that appreciation on the wow factor is something very, very important. So I think so. Is everyone clear about that need and something want? Sir, please also give to B2B also with respect to me. Please do the needful. Okay. In B2B, let me think very quickly about what the need is there. In B2B also very often the need is there. Let's say if someone wants to buy a generator. Okay. Now the need is something which is more across a need for a plant to be run. So generator is required. But when you have got a generator which is coming from ABC brand or DEF brand, that brand is also having a feeling of psychologically, which you're getting a feeling as far as you are concerned, maybe you're getting a feeling, though I have brought across from Kirloskar or I have taken from Cummins. Maybe the feeling which we carry as far as India is concerned, anything and everything which is MNC, anything and everything which is coming across from abroad has got a better quality, has got something, a better value. So Cummins generator has got a better image compared to what Mahindra can offer, or for that matter, what can be offered by Kirloskar. Ashish, am I being able to help you in terms of understanding that there is a need which is there? So there is a need in B2B also, the need which is coming across related to specification. Okay. I'm not moving away from that video camera, rather I'm moving from here. So sorry if it is, my voice is breaking down. Should I repeat again? See, when we talk about in terms of a B2B business, even in B2B business, when we are talking cross, it is the brand equity. It is something which is creating an image. I will again go back to a Kodak example, because in Kodak, we had got motion pictures. We had got a big way. We had got a major share in terms of your MRIs. or which we call across your X-ray films, which was manufactured and it was marketed by Kodak. And that point of time, there was ORWO and Kodak and such one or two. Agfa was used to be there, which was manufacturing those films. But the confidence which those doctors had on Kodak film was not available onto anyone which was coming from ORW or Agfa films. Why? Because the image what Kodak had created, incidentally, Agfa was also a German company, but it didn't have that same image. And there was another Konica. Konica was not having the same image because Konica was not in terms of the industrial business a lot, but nevertheless, it was having always a tinge which was more pinkish tinge, magenta tinge. Fuji, yes, Fuji was also there at that point of time. Okay. But it was not having the same image. Someone is saying that person with saturation stage can be discussed as wow, need, for not for the person being for the first to need stage of need hierarchy. Smruti, let me say that very simple, except for food, shelter, and clothing, which is the very basic need of Maslow's theory, but anything and everything slightly above that has got a wow factor. I'll give you one example. Suppose if you have started your career and you are just in the beginning of your career, and even if you happen to get across a second-hand vehicle, a two-wheeler or second-hand car, the wow factor is given to you still by your friends and colleagues of your batchmates. So people will say, oh, someone has got across a bike into, just started a career and you've got it. So wow factor is something is been there. Okay, so I say that it cannot be eliminated. And I would like to explain this, incidentally, this business of need a slightly more. I'm dwelling across on this topic, but it is very essential because the entire marketing is based onto this understanding of the need a slightly more. So I will explain your need in a different way, and this will possibly answer, Smruti, your answer to a certain extent. I will suggest you take across tennis balls. If you recall a tennis ball or a table tennis balls, and you take across a cylinder of the same size as the size of the tennis ball. And if you are going to put across the tennis ball onto that, inside that cylinder, if it's a vertical cylinder in this way, and suppose it can accommodate 3 or 4 tennis balls, how will the tennis ball fall inside? They are of the same diameter. The cylinder diameter is the same as the tennis ball. In what sequence? So I'm assuming that all of you are able to visualize what I'm talking about. If it is going to be one over the other, if it is going to be a cylinder, I'm just using my pencil to give an indication. So if I'm putting across a balls in that, so it's going one over the other. What does it signify? At any given point of time, there are multiple needs for the same product. And again, Smruti, extending your example about wow, which I mentioned across a second-hand vehicle. When you buy a second-hand vehicle, at that point of time, your need for transportation has been there. So you cannot eliminate the need for transportation for the purpose what you bought it for. But the need for recognition amongst your batchmates and your colleagues and your friends who are being of your same circle, which is on the top, and that is the wow factor. So what has happened if there are 2 needs? Just imagine there are only 2 needs being fulfilled by a second-hand vehicle. In that case, the need for transportation has been there, but in hierarchy, if you visualize into one over the other, the need for the wow factor is becoming on the top. Because the need for the wow factor is becoming on the top, and if I'm a marketeer and if I want to sell that second-hand vehicle, so I will identify the target audience and I will talk to those second-hand vehicles, the target audience, and I'll bring across the wow factor in some communication. If you talk about, and very often I've seen on Facebook and various social media, I get across there is a list of so many people, superstars and film stars, and the industries have got their own aircrafts. Okay, so that is a need. With the wow factor is something which is there. This could be again, which you can call as a latent. So I'm not talking about which is latent and which is a dormant need at any given point of time. But the sequence has to be there. And when we are marketing, whenever we are working on any product, we work towards with identifying the target audience, and based on the target audience, we select the need factor. And we bring that ball onto the top. The one or two need which is on the top, if you visualize there are 5 or 6 needs in a hierarchical position, in terms of our order of ascending orders, or sorry, descending orders, the top 1 or 2 need which we take as a marketeer and we bring forth to the minds of the customers. And we make them feel, oh, yes, that need was existing for me. That need was there. This need was, I wanted that need. Or this was, I wanted, oh, exactly, I was looking for this product. Let me explain you this concept slightly better with this example, with something. Yes, it is a red rose. I will just use this as an analogy to explain you the concept of need. What happens when you take up typically any flower, there are petals on the top, okay? What we are interested in, if someone can see across, if you see something which is in the center, I am sure that all of us have seen, if you can see my cursor which is moving around on that, if I can show this cursor which is moving, can you see that spot? Now, if you talk about in terms of any honeybee, honeybee is not interested into the petal. Honeybee is interested to get inside that, which you can see across. If you see this example, something on the left-hand side, if you can see as far as the same rose is concerned, I've taken this picture from the website, so it's not my creative, so don't worry on that. The honeybee is getting inside the petal, it is getting inside the flower, and ultimately it wants to get into whatever you call as an ovary or stigma or the style or the pollen, whatever you want to call that. So they get inside that. Normally in marketing, why marketeers fail? Marketeers pick up a rose or they pick up a flower and they see a petal and they say, oh, it is so lovely, it is so red, it is something, the petals are that. And they start taking the petal and they start realizing that, oh, this is a need. No, that is not the need. Need is something one has to get inside the flower to know what is the need. So I hope I have given you the perspective about the latent, dormant need kind of a thing. We have to get inside our target audience to understand what is the need. Go back to my Maggie example. When I mentioned Maggie, the need for the mother was always there. She wanted to cook something very quickly. But the way the communication was portrayed, that she is finishing her chore, C-H-O-R-E. She's finishing her task and she wants to just get away out of the kitchen, give out something to the children and walk away from there. That was not the mother in 80s and 90s. Maybe that could be applicable to today's mother. I'm not blaming anyone, but this is what I'm just giving an example. But what is the fact at that point of time, the chore was an aspect which was being seen that I'm doing away with the chore, and that is what the marketeer or so-called the product manager must have seen, and they used the international phenomena to sell Maggie as far as India is concerned, and they failed. But when they realized that Indians were different, they realized that something which was different, and they realized that some way was supposed to be done differently. Okay, yes, things happened. Go back in terms of the very, very important and a very old campaign. Again, there used to be a Lalita Ji campaign which Surf had to come out with because Surf was losing business very rapidly. And it was thought about at that point of time that Surf was losing business, and Nirma had come into the picture, and Nirma made a revolutionary change into the Indian market. At that point of time, Nirma came across as a challenge, and Surf was losing, which was once upon a time had a 40 of 60, 70 market share, was losing out. Someone did mention about Patanjali. Patanjali has not been a failure to a certain extent, but Patanjali has created a different yardstick for people. Someone has mentioned about the ad made an impact and the finger on your temple became a language. Yes, to a certain extent, you are right. Patanjali was able to create, they drew a different line altogether. There was a time Colgate was dominating player into the toothpaste market. I have known again very closely because as a student of marketing, I have been watching that company and I've been working across. Patanjali was a company which introduced salt. They talked about salt. They talked about something of natural ingredients, which incidentally Anchor had come down, or that there used to be a Balsara. There used to talk about, people were using natural products, but somewhere they never worked very much. Promise was using that clove oil, and Promise had challenged Colgate, but Promise was not able to do that much. They couldn't shake them up. But why Patanjali became successful at a point of time and they could shake up the market share for Colgate? was very simple because the target audience has undergone change. Today, if you talk about a couple of years back, the target audience has become suddenly very health conscious. When Balsara came across Promise, at that point of time, when Promise came across with a clove oil, that point of time, it has not been effective because people still had an inclination towards MNC and Western products. Prasad is talking about Swadeshi and Desh Prem. Prasad, 100% I do not agree. It has got a very small tinge. Rather, they are more critics of Patanjali rather than the people who are more favorable towards Patanjali. But people are more have gone towards consciousness of health, which has suddenly come in. There was not a consciousness of health as far as India was concerned somewhere in 60s and 70s. At that point of time, eating and making fun or making enjoyment was something at that point of time was the in thing. And people enjoyed at that point of time. So that was the reason where people are talking about, sir, can you please avoid FMCG and bigger brands and give more example of family manager MSC for us to relate only if possible? Yes, Abhishek, I'll just try to get you some examples on this also. Can I talk about example of Welspun, which has been there? Welspun was a brand which was again a family managed company, and Bombay Dyeing was featuring across, and Bombay Dyeing was a dominating player at that point of time, and Bombay Dyeing was able to make a difference entirely. Okay, when we talk about MSME and when you talk about today, a lot of MSME have become great. I have been working on this MSME sector a lot, and I've got a lot of clients on this area. But many examples I am not able to quote because of the NDA clause. But one of the companies I was associated in the past, which I can talk about, was Century Plyboards. And I was associated with Century in the time of 97 and something 98. At that point of time, Century was around 150, 200 crore company. And today the Century as a group has gone into 5,000 crore. But what has happened, Century has been able to make that breakthrough. They have been able to change this entire working. What Century did across, it realized the importance. It is very interesting. A product which is a very mundane product, a product which is not FMCG, cannot be called as a FMCD also. It is a product which can be mentioned across, will be for product which has got a very dry product, which is, I'm talking about plywood, a plyboard. I hope all of you have seen plywood once in a way in your lifetime. Plywood, something, it's a flat sheet of panel of wood, which you are using it for making furniture. So there's nothing interesting about this product. Yet what has happened, they made it so interesting. They got it very emotive. What they realized, they made it something, a wonderful product, and they got it emotive to the customer's mind. And they got it top of the mind. So Century was one of the MSME. They made it big because they used plywood, and over a period of time. Today, obviously, Century has diversified into various products. So hence, they have also grown into such a large organization. But plywood continues to be their main bread and butter. So plywood is one class example we can talk about. Let me think about Kitply created plywood boiling waterproof. Kitply was incidentally, Kitply happened at a point of time when Assam was closing, and Kitply failed because Kitply was depending upon Assam. Kitply definitely made for the first time. Before Kitply, the plywood was available as far as India is concerned. But Kitply created a kind of a sensation because they started branding, they started marketing. But Kitply failure was a reason for success for Century, Plywood, and Green to come at that point of time. Because when Assam as a area was closed for manufacturing of plywood, and since Century and Green were manufacturing in Calcutta, so at that point of time, they were able to capitalize on that, and Kitply had its slow death because Kitply couldn't cope up with them. So even today, the Kitply exists, but Kitply is no more a brand to reckon with. But Welspun was another example I'm sure I've given you, where Welspun was again a terry towels, which was a consumer product, but again, it was by a small company at that point of time, which was Welspun. Today, obviously, Welspun has become again into a giant organization. And Welspun was a company, and it was fighting its war with Bombay Dyeing. And Bombay Dyeing had its works. It was well settled. It had got the best of the brand. It has got the best of the image. And they were again the kind of a old company and the grand old kind of a company. And somewhere they have failed. When you talk about, again, into small companies making big, Anchor, for example, Anchor switches, which was there, they were into a small companies. You talk about in terms of Pidilite, to talk about Camlin, all these companies, I will not classify them in terms of a MSME in per se, but they were small companies, they were family managed companies, and they have made it big because they have understood what is required, they have understood the need, and they have challenged the companies and they have replaced those companies. Incidentally, into a family managed company today, which has become again a corporate, which is Asian Paints. If you talk about Asian Paints again, what has happened into Asian Paints? Asian Paint came across a time when the market was dominated by MNCs only. If you recall, all those paints at that point of time was Jensen Nicholson, British Paints, Shalimar, they all were MNCs and giants. Goodless Nerolac was there, and they came across and they challenged those companies. So Asian Paint, which started with a very typical from rural market, they came upward towards urban market. And Gattu was the original mnemonic which Asian Paint was using, because as per the story goes across, Choksi brothers, they were marketing paint and they realized that Indians were not looking at that 4-kilo pack, because most of the MNCs, they talk about that 4-liter pack, and Indians were very often looking across that 100, 2 ml, 500 ml pack. So they changed the ground realities. They went across and they brought across a new packaging. They brought across a new product. They talked about a new pricing and they challenged. And that was a point of time. It was again a MSME, which has become into a big corporate. I hope all of you are coming from the MSME background today, or you are working or you are having your own companies. You understand that this is where your vision, if it is done, this is the way, if you understand your consumer and if you're able to market your products, you can do a wonderful job. Which question we should ask customers in B2B to understand need? See, Ashish, you are talking about which questions to be asked. There is no specific list of questions which has to be asked. When you talk about in terms of know your customer, there's a concept which you must have seen. Banks very often, the finance companies talk about KYC very often. So they take a lot of inputs about you and they draw a conclusion. They draw across a pattern about you. And based on to this, you have to understand. And it is an ongoing process to understand the need. Whenever you're calling across and whenever you're meeting your customers, whenever you're going to do a sales call, whenever you're visiting a customer, you must have seen across what the customer is looking for. If you have gained an order, why have you gained the order? If you have lost the order, why have you lost the order? Try to do this analysis. If you do this analysis, you will be able to understand that what is working out. And over a period, you will be able to matrix. The matrix in terms of a type of customer, so you can classify your target audience. Let us say I'm classifying into 3 categories of customers: mid, average, and large. Now, if you're catering to these 3 kind of customers, what is the requirement of a small, mid, and large? What is the requirement of a small size customer, a mid-size customer, and a large customers? Large customers might be looking across for a service from you, because the moment they are large, and if you are small, they want people only who can cater to their needs, because that's very often. And you are also interested across because you find that you've got 1 large customers and I can cater to them. Whereas the small customer is very apologetic. Even when he wants to ask you for a service, he wants to ask you for a spare, he wants to ask you for a price discount, because he is coming from such a small requirement, he is apologetic because he doesn't expect you will give him those kind of a thing. Whereas large customers today, they are mentally prepared. I will not take across one of the business houses in this country, which is one of the largest in the country, which all you must be knowing. If you go across to supply anything to that company, whichever size of your company, whether you are MSME, you have a large organization, their negotiation pattern is exactly the same. They will go across, they will take your price, they will take your quotations, and after everything has been finalized, they will ask for additional discounts. They'll ask for additional benefits. They'll ask for something more. Now that more is something which they will differentiate across. But let me tell you, like what we see across in a consumer marketing, B2B customers are also equally worrisome. They also have the same apprehensions. They also have the same concerns. They also have the same worries that what happens if this product doesn't work, if this doesn't work out. So that is one of the reasons they go across in terms of seeking products from an organization which is well settled. They look from organizations which has got the technology. They look from organizations where the credentials are very high. Now, many times the companies, what they do a joint venture for that reason. Because joint venture gives the kind of an image that if I've got a joint venture with a Japan or a German company, so possibly my product, I'm an Indian small-time manufacturer, but the German technology which I'm using across, so my product is going to be equally engineering, particularly as far as engineering products are concerned, it is going to be very, very good. Because in the engineering product, the specification counts, the kind of a variance tolerance which is allowed in other parameters in other products, it cannot be there. It is not allowed. So somewhere that is a factor which makes a differentiating factor. So if I'm an MSME, I tend to have that kind of an association. I tend to develop my relationship. I tend to always bring out my credentials that I've been there for the last 25 years. And at the same time, I have also got a connection with Germany. But if I was a buyer, let me also tell you from another perspective. And if you are, in spite of 25 years, if you have not grown into a large organization, then something I will also go across suspecting about you. So many times MSME has got an advantage, but MSME is always not got an advantage because the customer also looks across whether the company has grown over the years. If the company has been a one-man show, if the company has not grown, the company has been stagnant as far as the turnover is concerned, although the product is of a good quality, but then there are a lot of people are concerned about it. There's a company which is in terms of manufacturing gears, which is an Anand, Echelon Gears or something. I'm forgetting the brand. If I recall, I'll tell you that. This is owned by Mr. Patel. Now, what has happened? This was Elecon Gears. Very right, Sumit. Thanks for that. Elecon Gears, what has happened? Elecon Gears was once upon a time the same small MSME, some 40, 50 years. But what has happened? Today, they have got the best of the technology. They've got best of the engineering. And they've grown as a giant. And today, every company wants to have a business with them. And Elecon Gears have replaced Bharat Gears, if you see across. Bharat Gears was also an Indian company. But they have lost it out. So what has happened? What is the difference which Elecon has been able to do that? Elecon has been able to outgrow from the MSME mode. MSME is okay. The family managed companies are okay. It's fine to a certain extent. But that should not be the criteria. That should not be the way one should look at it. That is not your strength if you continue for 25 years or 30 years. Yes, in the beginning of years, if you're a startup to a certain extent, if you're small, that is fine. Everyone will admire you. Everyone will respect you. But over a period of time, you have to necessarily show the growth also. Ashish and Abhishek, I hope I have been able to now give you some perspective about B2B and something about how the MSME has to be reacting to it and what we talk about in terms of customer need identification. You're talking about elevators. Yes. Now, elevators, if you talk about, elevator is one segment, which is, I will just talk about because there is another spectacles. Spectacles is not something which is so much seen from the B2B. It is more seen across B2C, if I'm not mistaken, Harshit. But elevators definitely is more B2B because elevators are bought by builders, the construction companies. Okay. Electronic components used in instruments also all elevators. Yes. Now, instruments are, the elevators are purchasing. So elevator companies, what I understand, you are manufacturing something which is being purchased by these companies. Now, they are looking at the trust because elevator has got something which is the most sensitive, and elevator is something which is dealing with the lives of the individuals. The end customer, the elevator companies, whether it is Schindler or whether it is in terms of Otis or you name the companies, there are a couple of brands which I know, but there are many, many more companies into this segment. Mitsubishi is one of them. So what is happening? All these elevator companies will only go across with the best manufacturer or the best which is giving across evidence or which cannot fail. So here, if you're an instrument supplier to the elevator company, You have to give your credentials. You have to go across in terms of your ratings from the best of the agencies which have certified your products, and they have given you that this product has got so much shelf life, so much longevity. And in case there is no failure, there's a backup operations. And second thing the elevator companies will always trust upon is the roadmap which you can give across, because elevator designs, what I have seen, have undergoing change. Elevators are no more the static elevators, what used to happen 30 years back or 20 years back. Nowadays, if you see every new building project, there's a new design, there's new elevator, and there's a lot of customization with a basic classification, basic product design is something similar. Okay, but there's a customization aspect which is coming across. And because the technology is improving day by day, because of the safety features which are required as far as the elevators are concerned, so the elevators manufacturers are also changing their suppliers, and the source are being changed. And one thing which the elevator companies expect from you, you being a small time player, they expect from you that you will continue to service them for 10 years. So that for what period of time which your company is going to be there and be able to service them. Because the challenge for a small company is there, you cannot keep on manufacturing the same product after 10 years. You cannot hold an inventory for that period of time. Whereas those companies may not buy from you, but they will try to expect you to store the inventory. Am I right, Ashish? I've been able to give you some insight. So the challenge which comes across with the elevator companies and these kind of suppliers, that you have to be able to give them the sense of confidence on this. So as I mentioned in the past, that instant gratification and the wow factor which is coming across, these are few of the needs which I will just put it across, that these are the reasons where people have got it in terms of need, which is people are looking at. Need, as I mentioned across, is the wow factor which we have been looking at. Wow factor is a very common factor which we can see how can we work across even in terms of B2B also. But as it is a commodity product where price is the main, how can we create a wow factor? Ashish, I think so. I mentioned across, price is never an important factor. Price is a perception, cost is a reality. So when we talk about price, is not the price. It is something, if you're going to give that service, if you're going to give the product, if you're going to tell the customer that, look, sir, even after 8 years, if you come across and you want a spare, I can give it to you. People are going to come to you and not because of the price. So that relationship has to be there. The confidence has to come across and the price comes in. Price is important. I am not denying that fact, but price is not the factor. Price is one of the factors. The other factors which is there as far as the marketing is concerned, which we are going to look forward in the next session possibly, and we are going to take it further and we are going to discuss on that. So I am going to give you across certain perspective, there's certain concepts about marketing, but it will be with examples and the realities about how we work across. And since Ashish has given me some amount of input about what kind of a business is he into, I'll try to give examples from that perspective also. Ashish, if you allow me to do that. Okay, so we will discuss that and use that as also example, and I'll continue with the consumer product as well as B2B in our next session. Thank you very much. I'll try to bring in across as much example and as much as practicality in our next session. We continue. And Dr. Anil has given me that advantage of continuing further. And people who have got certain questions uninsured, for example, for the Harshit, you talked about spectacles. So please bring it up next session and I'll try to accommodate and try to do something about it. Okay. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dr. Anil.
Thank you, sir. Nothing else. I just want to thank you. Chaitanya has ended it well. Excellent, sir. Thank you for a wonderful session.